If I were to make a video on all the things that are absolutely brain dead about Vivek Ramaswamy's platform, we'd be here until Jesus came, okay? But in this video, I really want to focus in on one, and that's this topic on climate. These takes are really throwbacks for me because they take me back to high school when I went to an all boys conservative Catholic high school, and people would trot out these boring, economic ideas like they were some kind of geniuses because their dad worked in finance or whatever. But anyway, let me read this tweet and we'll discuss it. America must unshackle itself from this economic straitjacket. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear. Stop paying people to stay at home. Quit the self-flogging. Revive American excellence. He tags Brett Weinstein. There's a little video. It's not too interesting. He basically just says what I just read off. So let's get into it. First things first, let's give some credit out there. Nuclear energy is really good. France is a big nuclear energy kind of place, and it's really good for them because they're one of the most green countries in Europe, and I think in the world actually. A lot of that is credit to their nuclear infrastructure because nuclear is very efficient. It's much more efficient than solar. It's much more efficient than wind, and it's definitely part of the green revolution moving forward, and it's pretty safe nowadays. So I think that more and more people will start to embrace it. Hopefully that happens in America as well. But the thing about coal is just plainly ridiculous. Coal is disgusting. It's really dirty from point A to point B, right? Throughout the entire supply chain. Getting it out of the ground is terrible. People die at 50 because of it, and it's just, do you want to go in the coal mines? It's literally a meme at this point. And then when you actually burn it, it creates not only a long-term climate disaster, even though he doesn't believe in this kind of thing. It doesn't only create a long-term climate disaster, but it creates a short-term environmental disaster because it's just so nasty. People get asthma from this type of stuff. Yeah, their lives are impacted forever. Forever they will have this thing like asthma, and it's really terrible for the people who live around it. And the people who live around it are usually disadvantaged folks anyway, so it's not like they can afford the best health care to begin with. So it's a really tough situation when you start burning a ton of coal. And also China burns a ton of coal, right? China has to be a net importer of oil and natural gas, and for a long time, and they still do this to some extent, they were burning coal, and that's why their cities had such a notorious smog problem, and everybody was wearing a face mask. Do we want to bring that back? Folks, I don't really think so. And the point on natural gas and oil, it's I can't take seriously any Republican who, with a straight face, tells me that we need to increase oil production and gain energy independence, like other countries. I don't get that. The real reason why oil prices fluctuate is because of OPEC, and OPEC has cartel power over global oil prices, and so we're basically just at their whims. It has nothing to do with U.S. policy. There's nothing Joe Biden can do. There's nothing Trump could have done to change gas prices. We're just at the whim of OPEC. And the reason we're at the whim of OPEC is because U.S. gas and oil is controlled by private companies. And so the U.S. government doesn't have control over it. So we can't use it as a geopolitical weapon the way that other countries do. And so that's why we really need to nationalize the oil and gas industry, because if we did, first of all, we'd be able to have a managed decline. So we could use all the fossil fuels that we want. The government could even take a loss on the price of oil just to keep it really down, and to boost economic activity and make it up on the back end, on the tax revenue end, right? I would support using more fossil fuels in the short term if it means we're making very aggressive infrastructure around green energy. I'm all for that, but that has to begin with nationalizing oil and gas, because there's no way that a private company is going to be able to have a managed decline. It's just not going to happen. Companies are set up for eternal growth, and so something that's a managed decline of their business model is not something that they're going to support. So that's the real answer to these questions. But Vivek Ramaswamy, needs to trot out this idea, and the next part of it is really telling, right? Because he brings up the part about paying people to stay at home. That's not happening, folks. Okay, unemployment benefits, you pay into unemployment benefits and you take them out. They run out after a certain point. I don't understand what the big deal is with that. But for him, it really is about capitalist interests. Okay, not to get too Marxist on everybody, but Vivek Ramaswamy is a businessman. His class interests don't align with the American people, right? The American worker. He wants cheap inputs in the form of cheap energy, and then also cheap labor. And that's really what this is about. That's what his political candidacy is about. I don't think it's nefarious. I think he's a true believer in really stale old ideas. I think he really thinks that if you just deregulate and, didn't empower the workers, that companies would make so much money that everybody would do better, like trickle-down economics, Reaganomics type BS. I really do think that he's a true believer in that kind of thing. But, I mean, forgive me for being a little bit more skeptical because, I actually thought one or two more times instead of just writing off of my business dealings. Can we come up with real climate solutions, folks? Is there anybody out there who is offering a managed decline of the oil and gas industry? No one. No one's calling for it because nationalizing it would be too crazy. The U.S. government already has the mineral rights, right? They do lease the mineral rights, so just yanking them right out of the ground. They'd be bankrupt tomorrow and you could buy it for nothing. Thank you for watching. I would really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button, but don't hit that don't hit that bell for the notifications because I don't want that responsibility being in your life every single day. We're uploading every day on this channel, by the way. Weird flex, but okay. That's what we got going on. What do you got going on? I got these refrescos, these Coca-Cola refrescos, right? The ones from Mexico. Boom. Get on my level. Already learned that lesson, yeah. I'm changing who I am. I'm making a new plan, rearranging my... If I were to make a video on all the things that are wrong about